Kelly. Thanks for having me again. If I had 10 of you, I'd rule the world.
Charles, a lot of people have dreamed of starting their own business, and they never quite get around to it. I'm not sure why, but they never quite get around to it. But you're kind of the expert on this issue of helping African Americans, especially, to become entrepreneurs.
Yes. Kelly, we have spent the last 10 years, the last decade, creating an African American marketing community that will allow any of the citizens of our community to start their own business based upon the power of internet technology. All they need is really the determination, and we really do have everything else that they need.
Okay. Now let's start off with the website, because we can send people there while we're sitting here. Give them the website address and how they can go and start looking at this African American Connection.
We're located at www.aaconnection.com, and that's just AACONNECTION, no S.com. Or they can Google us by just accessing African American Shopping Mall.
Okay. Now, so why is it so important for us to have our own business?
Well, I think statistics make it important.
Mm-hmm.
We rank at the bottom of every quality of life statistic on record. We're double the unemployment rate, 3 times the infant mortality rate, 20% less the graduation rate. So when you look at the economic landscape, and you really look at reality as a whole, people have to be in charge of their economic opportunities individually and as a community in order to have any opportunity at prosperity.
So we're not in charge?
No, we're not in charge. If we're working basically after, prior to 1910, and let me just quote a study by Margaret Levinstein that she conducted, and I'll just kind of read it verbatim. She said one of the most striking findings of a study that she conducted was that in 1910, African Americans were more likely than white Americans to be employers and almost as likely as white Americans to be self-employed. Now, what happened to us? Actually, this didn't change until after the Great Migration that disrupted the existing network among African Americans and African American businesses. And so it was after the Great Migration that we got addicted to these jobs. And if you look at a job, someone else is controlling your economic well-being. They're controlling that. And what's happened to us is we get into these jobs, and we know the old saying, last hired, first fired. So we go through these periods of economic existence or subsistence, followed by either getting terminated, laid off, or whatever, and then we're faced with economic struggle and uncertainty. When we're working, we're able to do it just to exist. But when we go through these periods of not having that job, debt builds up, and then we get another job. So it's this vicious cycle of up and down, and never really moving forward or establishing any long-term economic well-being.
But Charles, that's the way Mama did it. That's the way Daddy did it. They worked at Chrysler, they worked at General Motors, they got good paying jobs, Eli Lilly. What's wrong with that?
Well, look at us today. Where has that gotten us? We've been over here as long as we came over here right with the Pilgrims. We don't own any shopping centers. We don't own any corporations that are independent or dependent upon the black community for its survival. We have large black businesses that are either supported by government contracts or corporate contracts, but not through, we don't have a black business that is really like, if you go back and look at Little Italy, look at Chinatown, look at these thriving business districts that still exist in America. We started it, but we don't have them. So if you look at the economic health, and I think one of the things that disturbs me the most is that our African American leadership invested the entire economic well-being of the black community upon jobs being created in the general marketplace. Now that jobs are not being created in the general marketplace, what is their plan B? They don't seem to have one other than to continually ask corporate America for something that they don't have, which is jobs.
Right, you hear that over and over again. The unemployment rate just came out the other day, not somewhat better, but not as much as we'd like. Not a big change in the economy, even since Barack Obama's been in office. I know he's been trying, but
He
we're not
inherited
really
a mess.
He did what?
He inherited a mess.
Right, yeah. And so, and how to get out of it. You're right. What's going to change? What can we do? And it's interesting because I will say this, the Bush administration's policies forced me to think, it put so many people, including myself, in such a trick bag that it did get me thinking about being an entrepreneur, because it just innately you think, I can't depend on these people anymore. I have to depend on myself. So I think there are a lot of people out there who are realizing that, and I don't know the figures, but perhaps there has been some growth in small business.
Well, here's the thing we need to look at. The number one path to economic independence is business ownership. Look, I don't care whether you're Bill Gates, I don't care whether you're Steve Jobs, I don't care whether you're Sam Walmart. These guys started their own business. They didn't get involved in a get-rich-quick scheme. They started their own business and they dealt with the fundamental principles of business. And we have to do the same thing. I don't care whether you go to China, you go to Germany, you'll see thriving businesses. And one of the biggest misconceptions that we have about economics as a community is that that the consumer is responsible for the economic health of the community. Mm-hmm. I hear people talk about all the time recirculating dollars. Buy black. Well, hey, I'm a buy black opponent. I believe in buying black. I believe in recirculating our dollars.
Proponent?
Proponent.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Proponent. Here's the deal. If I wanted to buy a black flat screen TV today, where would I get it? If I wanted to buy some black dishes or black sheets for my bed, where would I get it? This is a great slogan, but it has no viability. Our mission in the African American Connection is to create a whole new generation of retail merchants through the power of internet technology. E-business operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can come into our community and have chat feature. You can have your own blog. We're tied into over 8 shipping companies, 21 payment gateways. We give you a state-of-the-art e-commerce web store in a community that we all can get involved in what we term to be collective marketing. So by owning your own business, selling your own products, I have nothing against multi-level marketing but this. If I'm selling a multi-level marketing product, I'm really not in business for myself. I'm still working for someone else. I don't know whether they're going to go bankrupt. I don't know what's going on in their head office. Mm-hmm. So I don't have that complete control. Here in the African American Connection, you can come in. We have partnered with 4 of the largest wholesalers in the world, 1 out of China, mm-hmm. 1 out of the UK, and 2 here in the United States. You can choose your own product. I think we have about 5 products you cannot sell, common sense products, mm-hmm. And start your own business, and we help you to make sales. Our motto is in business for yourself, not by yourself.
So you just won an award. In fact, what was the award that you won for?
We were recognized as the #1 African American mall on the internet by Black Web Awards. And when you come in and as a AAC member merchant, getting your own web store, putting in your own product, we provide all the training and support. Then you are placed in our award-winning mall where you can be located by the name of your store, you can be located by the state in which you live in, or by the product that you sell. So category-wise, you can be located as well.
Okay, so you're saying a person sitting at home, listening now, that's been wanting to start a business, can just go online and get registered and start that business?
They can go right to aaconnection.com. They can go in there, and as a matter of fact, Kelly, we're having open enrollment from August the 6th to November the 6th. So for the next 90 days, it's not going to cost them 1 red penny to start their own business in the African American marketing community.
Really?
Not a penny.
Just like that. But a lot of people are scared to start a business, and so how do we overcome those fears? What advice would you give them? Because they may not know even where to start in terms of what do I sell? What kind of business can I start?
Well, we're not here to run anybody's business for them. What we've done is really created a marketing community that compensates mm-hmm. for the barriers that have impeded upon the entrepreneurial success of African American enterprise. And so we make sure that you have all the tools. You get a live chat feature, you get them all. We have collective marketing. So, for example, with 300 member merchants in there, if each member merchant brings 10 people a day to their store, and we have marketing tools to do that. For example, we're integrated into all the social media marketing platforms. Then you're bringing 3,000 people, 300 people a day to your store. 3,000 people a week, over 1.5 million people a year. So if I come and visit your store, I can also go and visit somebody else's store. This is called collective marketing. And this is why we need to understand that we can do more together than we can as individuals. I think we've been given these concepts, as I said before, this buy black concept. A lot of concepts we operate on are just are not viable. They are concepts that are illusionary because they have no viability in the context of practical applications.
Okay, well, this is fascinating. I mean, there's definitely a need in light of the economy. Things still are not where they need to be, and financial independence is what we need as a community.
It's what we have to do. Look, you asked me the earlier question, and I'll answer it in a more brief way. If you're scared, what do? You want to start your own business, but you're really not sure. Well, hey, here's the thing I say. It's either self-employment or unemployment. So if it scares you less, because here's the deal. One thing that we can agree upon as African Americans, the only ideology that we can agree upon as African Americans is economics. Look. If I ask you, Kelly, do you have to feed your children? You're going to say, yes, Charles, I do. If I ask you, Kelly, do you have to pay your mortgage? You're going to say yes. Yeah, if I ask you, Kelly, do you have to buy clothes to put on? You're going to say yes. Economics is something. Kelly, do you want to make some money? Yes. But if we start talking religion, we start talking politics, we start talking cultural ideology, we're going to disagree. We can unite upon the ideology of economics. And we have a program that if any citizen of our community, not just the educated, not just the well-to-do, anyone in our community that has a desire to take control over their financial needs and aspirations, come to the African American Connection at aaconnection.com. And our motto, as I said earlier, is in business for yourself, not by yourself. We provide free training and support right over your computer within the convenience, comfort, and safety of your home or office.
And you got open enrollment now until?
November the 6th.
Okay. Charles Bolds, founder and CEO of the African American Connection. Thanks so much for joining us here on Access Indy.
Thank you, Kelly.